Hey, good morning. This is Bill with Think Out Loud Media. My subject today is, and what I'm thinking out loud is, it's about damn time the Steelers got rid of Mike Tomlin. And the funny thing is, the Baltimore Ravens owner said that pretty much disqualified him from being an applicant to apply for a job with the Ravens, because he did that after the Ravens kicker missed a field goal. So that just sums up Tomlin's coaching style. Yes, he could be my defensive coordinator. He'd be my first hire for my defensive coordinator, but he is not the leader of the team. He just does not bring the right mentality. He even said in his last press conference after the game was over that he wasn't looking that far ahead. He was only living in the moment. Well, that pretty much sums up Mike Tomlin's whole coaching career. He's only living in the moment, and so is the entire team. And I've said it multiple times to my son, my friends, anybody that would listen, and they're probably sick of it, but that's all. I mean, it's the first quarter, and they make a sack, and they celebrate like they won the Super Bowl. So that just sums up the team's mentality. They're only living in the moment. So why would you want a CEO or your team leader, your coach that's in charge of a $1 billion company that can't see past 5 minutes? He can only see what's in front of him. He can't think ahead. He has no planning. He has no future. He's only living in the moment, and he comes up with some really good, snappy, in-the-moment responses to people. Or if he doesn't like the question, he just walks out of the press conference. Since when can your CEO just walk off and not take questions? So if you can't stand the heat, you shouldn't be the coach. You shouldn't be the manager. You shouldn't be the guy in charge. Yes, you could definitely run the defense. Although all you did is run the defense into the ground. And then you say you guys don't use excuses, but then you blare out a bunch of excuses. So my question to Mike Tomlin is, how does it feel to be a Barry Switzer? That you had to win your Super Bowl with somebody else's team. That you had nothing to do with developing any of the coaches. You had nothing to do with developing any of the players. Let me ask you, who came from your coaching tree? MT. Mike Tomlin, MT. I mean, empty. MT. Empty. Nobody. So you never developed a coach. I heard Stephen A. Smith on one of the sports shows doing a quick interview, and they said, well, if they ever gave Tomlin a quarterback, he could do something. He had 19 years to get a quarterback. 19 years of 500 ball? That's supposed to be something that's supposed to be celebrated? And he won the Super Bowl with Bill Cowher's team? Bill Cowher's coaching tree? Come on. Thank God he's gone. It's just amazing to me. If he was white, would he still have had his job that long? There's coaches that get fired after a year or 2 years. What is so great about not having a losing season? That just means that you still are mediocre. It means that you have to draft at the end of the draft every year. And even when you do get in the first round picks, you pick Kenny Pickett. And he was in the same building as you. You could go over on the other side of the field or go over and talk to him anytime you wanted. Or you could see what he was doing. Or you would hear stuff because it's in your building. They must have been really selling you a whole line of bull for you guys to piss away a number 1 draft pick on Kenny Pickett. So then you got Mason Rudolph. He was so good you guys let him go. And then you brought back Buck Naked again as a backup to Aaron Rodgers. All you've been doing is putting Band-Aids on it, and you're always trying to get somebody else's talent. You have no ability. You can't see past the moment of right now. Develop anybody. Like I said, if you were white, you would have been fired. If the Rooneys didn't have the Rooney Rule and make sure that you have to interview an African American, you would have been gone a long time ago. And personally, I think if you step down, that's just the way that they had to be graceful to say that your ass is fired. Because they came up with the Rooney Rule. And it just does not look good when the Steelers would fire an African American head coach. I think things should be done on merit. Yes, I think that you're a hell of a defensive leader. I think you are a presence in the locker room, but you're only good for right now. If you met me face to face, you would destroy me. But you have no plan, no future, other than the moment of right now. And that's why you guys can't win a playoff game. That's why you guys cannot come up with a better defensive line. You can't draft guys. In 19 years, you've had 19 number 1 draft picks. Oh, I take that back, because you wasted a whole bunch when you got Mika Fitzpatrick, which he was a good player. Don't get me wrong, but I think you used 2 first-round draft picks to get him. And then you traded him away for some bubble gum and an old pair of cleats. That's just the way that I see it. Maybe I'm definitely could be wrong, but it just seems like I can't think of anybody that you drafted. Maybe Cam Hayward is your only good pick, and TJ Watt. That's it. That's it. So you got 2 out of 19 right. And I don't know why Stephen A. Smith would have to say, give him a quarterback. Give him. Why it's always give him. Give him, give him, give him. How about you develop one? I thought you guys did a good job picking Will Howard. Let the guy play. Everybody was so probably worried about Mike Tomlin having a losing season. Who gives a crap? I would have rather you guys went 4-13 and been drafting in the top 5. You got to have that every once in a while. Cowher had a bad year, and they got Ben Roethlisberger out of it. And they didn't even need a quarterback at that point because they had Tommy Maddox, but they said they just couldn't pass it up. And it definitely paid off. But Bill Cowher had that foresight. He could see past the moment. He could see past today. A head coach, a CEO, has to have a vision of tomorrow. Not always just worried about today only. If you can't see down the road, I just don't know how you kept your job for 19 years. Let me see, I wrote down a couple other things. Oh, So I was flipping through the channels or no, actually, I was watching YouTube, and Rich Eisen was on there, and he was saying that the Steelers' job is a jewel or a gem. Who wouldn't want that job? I wouldn't want that job. You draft 20 to 24th every year. What talent is there to build on? I don't see it. I'm a Steelers fan, but I'm a fan of Bill Cowher, Chuck Noll, Jack Lambert, Roethlisberger, James Ferrier, James Harrison. Tomlin was so making the wrong decision that he pretty much ran James Harrison out of there. But James Harrison is the reason that he won his Super Bowl. People kind of forget that he intercepted the ball and ran it back for 100 yards right before half. It was a 14-point swing. Without that play, the Steelers probably don't win that Super Bowl. Just like Tomlin could not win the Super Bowl with all his main players. By 2010, a lot of Cowher's players were gone. Couldn't do it because he couldn't develop anybody. Cowher's players were getting old, and then he just couldn't do it. So Rich Eisen started talking about coaches, and he said, I don't know why they always have to bring up who gives a crap where somebody was born, other than if you're going to run for the President of the United States, then you're legally supposed to be born in the United States. And we all know how that worked out. I guess that doesn't even matter. But anyhow, oh, well, Mike McCarthy, he's from Pittsburgh. We don't want McCarthy. What could he do? His days are over. We need a new guy like Ben Johnson. We need a coach that doesn't take any crap and he can see past 5 minutes from now. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers need. You have to have a vision. And you have to surround yourself with players that want to be part of that vision. Mike Tomlin couldn't do that. He couldn't see past the moment. That's his words in the press conference. So Rich Eisen mentioned Curt Cignetti. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. The coach from Indiana. Yeah. He's 60-some years old. I don't care. I'd take him in a heartbeat because you could tell by the look on his face that he doesn't take any crap from his players. And he expects everybody to do their job on every single play. And they don't have to run down to the end zone and grab their crotch in the first quarter and jump up and down and do their dance and act like they won the Super Bowl. They did their job. They did one play. You get paid millions of dollars to do that. You have to look past the moment there, Tommy. MT. Can't see past 3 feet. You have to look past that. You got to make those plays all the way to the playoffs and beyond. Now, he also mentioned Marcus Freeman. Boy, that would be great for the Steelers. No, it wouldn't. I don't want Marcus Freeman. He was pouting and stomping his feet with Notre Dame because they didn't get into the college playoffs. And they refused to play in a bowl game. So the first sign of adversity, that guy's going to quit on you. Why would you want Marcus Freeman? I don't care what color you are. If your mentality is you're going to take your toys and go home, go home, stay home. We don't need you. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't need you. The fans don't need that. It's always easy when everybody's winning. Tomlin came into an easy situation, and he made it work for a year and a half, living in the moment. But he didn't have any kind of future plans. He had no path to who's going to be next at this position or that position where we're getting old or spending too much money. I don't know. Did the Steelers ever make a trade when Tomlin was there, other than trading for that Ramsey in number 81? I don't even know his name, because to me he was so useless. They put him in a running back sometimes. They weren't playing Freiermuth. They weren't throwing the ball to Freiermuth. Give me a break. And I don't blame Arthur Smith. My buddies all blame, we need a better offensive coach. That's a bunch of crap. It's Mike Tomlin. Again, has he hired anybody and developed anybody that people wanted as a head coach beyond playing for or coaching for the Pittsburgh Steelers? If there's one, send me a comment. Tell me how great Tomlin's coaching tree is. I don't know. That pretty much sums it up. Hey, Tomlin. ABC was sick of you for the last 10 years. I put Barry Switzer at the top of the picture, and that's because Mike Tomlin is no different than Barry Switzer was. They gave him a headset. He was on the sidelines, and he yelled a lot of stuff, but he had actually nothing to do with calling the plays. Dick LeBeau ran the defense, which came from Bill Cowher. John Mitchell was defensive line coach. Russ Grimm, a Pro Football Hall of Famer as a player, was the offensive line coach, and he came from Bill Cowher. Kirby Wilson was the running back coach, and Bruce Arians, he was the offensive coordinator, and he was already with Bill Cowher. So Mike Tomlin never won anything without Bill Cowher's players and coaches. So Mike Tomlin can live in the moment, and he can get the job done at the moment. To give his speech, inspire. He has no foresight. He has no ability to see past the moment. And he summed that up in his press conference after getting crushed by the Houston Texans again and losing for the 7th consecutive time in the playoffs. He's a mediocre team. What is so great about being 8-8, 9-7? What is so great about that? In Major League Baseball, if you win out of 162 games and you win 82 games, you're not the manager for very long.